saying is true, and people do make up stories on their CVs and their biodatas, but if what they're saying is true, and somebody has worked for a period, a few months or a couple of years, in a named organisation that is respected, then yes, they will have good experience, and they will look at things slightly differently, and they will generally be a better employee if they're returning to Russia for a Russian employer.
People in Russia have been talking, politicians, for a couple of years now about importing labor, that in a couple of years Russia will not be able, and one of the reasons is the demographic situation, it won't be able to provide enough qualified labor in this country. Can you tell us the fields where Russia is going to import a lot of labor? Is it only like unqualified jobs like construction work, or is it in the more qualified field?
I think it's pretty much across the board. I mean, I don't have any particular specialist knowledge of if you like, the lower end labour market, but certainly in specialisms, it's true of Russia, it's true of every developing economy. There is a massive shortage of talent now, and that is going to get progressively worse in the next 5 to 15 years. It's going to be very, very bad, because there simply aren't enough people.
So the main problem is language.
The main problem with working in Russia at the moment is language, but the Russian language is more accessible now than it was a few years ago, a lot more accessible, and there are a lot more people studying it. It's in the West, as far as I'm aware. In terms of English being an accepted language in Russia, on a whole it is. It helps having a few words, but on the whole people can work here without much Russian, although there's no reason why somebody working here should not want to learn the language anyway.
So you know, you think that if we have, for example, a specialist who with English, who's a native English speaker, wants to come to Russia, knowing some words in Russian, but not having the real command of the language, he may come here, find a job and start learning here, and that will be okay.
I think that definitely more of that will definitely happen. Some of it happens now, because if the skill that they have, if you're talking about, for example, an IT worker, and 5-10 places IT people across the world, and telco is the other one. Telco, literally, from Azerbaijan to Zaire, we place people, so it depends on the skill.
Says Graham Palfrey-Smith, a leading figure in the recruitment industry. Spotlight will be back shortly, right after a break. So don't go away, stay with us on Russia Today.
They circle around the globe to bring you the latest news.
The area is safe. People are still alive. Struggle to make ends meet.
Putting themselves in danger in the hottest spots.
Damaged buildings, empty streets, and debris all around.
The organizers said they will go further.
Not the answer to the deadlock.
Another day of fire.
Searching all over Russia.
Building bridges and sharing their culture. Becoming the best of friends. Better late than never.
And around the world.
Moscow, Nizhny Belgrade, Athens, Lisbon, Penza region, Sochi, Washington.
For full and unbiased information.
In the right place in the right time.
Which you get firsthand.
Welcome to the future. This month on Technology Update, pushing back the boundaries of what medicine can do.
You looked straight into my eyes and gave me this answer, you're never gonna walk again.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Light at the end of the tunnel for people living in darkness, and pioneering treatments that may one day cure cancer. Also, science fiction becomes science fact. That's all here on RT in the latest edition of Technology Update. We've got the future covered.
Mark Ames has found some great countryside to settle down in. But the area needs a bit of tender loving care. Some water. A little drainage here and there. And also some electricity would help. And the result?
So you have that mixture of nature, beauty, and industrialization.
Do we really need to look for paradise when it's already on our doorstep? Spend the summer with The Wayfarer on RT.
I very much like doing In Context, and I'll tell you why. The program covers breaking events and news flow, but also controversial events some people will never touch. I provide a number of perspectives and have the viewer decide. There are a number of point of views available, but it's pretty easy to figure out what I think.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Al Grunov, and just a reminder that our guest today is Graham Palfrey-Smith, a leading figure in the recruitment industry working in Russia. We're talking about job opportunities in this country, for one. Graham, is it true that Russians are tremendously overpaid, and that one of the reasons to come to this strange country for a person, say, from the UK, is that he will be paid twice what he can make in the United Kingdom?
No, it's not. Probably half, I would imagine.
He would get half
at the moment
of what he got in England.
Yep, it's getting the gap is narrowing, and certainly the economic downturn that the UK and America are experiencing at the moment will help that gap narrow, because they won't be able to afford the wages, and there will be opportunities in other countries, Russia included. But at the moment, no. It's the disparity is the other way around.
So then what makes foreigners come to work to Russia? Experience, or
experience, and also you have to go. It's almost a pioneering thing. If you work in a particular discipline, you go where the work is and where the expansion is. Russia is expanding at 7-8% a year. And some of the disciplines within it, some of the specialist organisations within it, are growing at several times that, 30-40%.
So if you're in business, I mean, Russia is the place to make money, yes? Because you can make more money here than you can make in the UK, because there's more niches that you can take.
Indeed. Yeah? It's a newer market, it's a fresher market. It's a huge market for whether you make automobiles, whether you're in the energy business, or you're a professional specialist. Accountants are expanding, lawyers are expanding, IT, HR, marketing. It's all growing, and people will go where the opportunities are.
But if you are just working on a salary, if you just get the salary and that's it, I mean, there are opportunities other than money to seek for in Russia. Like a faster career.
The opportunity to shine is that you're a bigger fish in a smaller pond. I mean, despite the fact the country is vast, despite the fact that you've got 11 hours of time zones, which is the same as between London and Sydney at its most extreme. It's only got 140, 150, 160 million people. It's a completely different type of place. Whereas somewhere like the States is much smaller country and has 250 million people. It's a completely different ballgame. The opportunities here are enormous, and I think that's why people will keep coming.
But if people in Europe get much higher salaries than they get in Russia, then you should your agency should be able to make big bucks on providing jobs for Russians abroad.
Indeed.
Is it happening?
Indeed.
Lots of Russians are going abroad?
I wouldn't say lots at the moment.
Why?
Well, partly because we've only just come to Russia with Antal. So Antal's been here for 15 years.
It's not the only job opportunity.
No, indeed.
Yeah.
But in terms of other opportunities around Europe, definitely. A lot of it is information. People want to know what's happening. It's organisations like 510, Antal, communicating that information to the job hunters and saying, well, you do this here, you have a great skill, but you could also do that in another country. And Europe is much easier because it's much nearer, but there are opportunities literally across the world. We've placed Russians in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Australia, in America, and of course across Europe. So the opportunities are there. Often it's a question of